Hey, longtime Republicans who relish the legacy of Ronald Reagan, I've got a question for you.
And last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television, and I did. Yeah. To see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
In the words of Killmonger, was that your king? Because the reality is extremism in this country is nothing new. And we don't even have to go back to Jim Crow or enslavement to highlight domestic terrorism. Racial animus has always led to racist policies, and we can focus on the presidents who've governed during most of our lifetimes, long before Donald Trump. From Reagan to Bush 41 to Bush 43. So let's talk about it. Joining me now, my friend, staff writer for The New Yorker and MSNBC political analyst, Jelani Cobb. Jelani, you know, when we were thinking about the show this week, I'm like, I have to have Jelani on for this segment because when you hear people say, oh, well, Donald Trump turned the Republican Party racist, and they brandish themselves, these Reagan Republicans, I still find that quite insulting because Reagan was no friend to ours. Remind the people, if you will, why he was not.
Yeah, I mean, so it's amazing when you think about, you know, even Reagan before, you know, he became president and when he was governor of California, where he referred to a black family which was being harassed for having bought a home in a predominantly white community. And Reagan referred to them as troublemakers. And, you know, his contempt for, you know, issues of civil rights was well known, you know, prior to this. And so, and really, quite frankly, you can't simply exclude the rest of the party. You know, this was part and parcel of the direction that the party began moving in, going all the way back to Goldwater, if you really want, in 1964. And so this is, you know, at the very least, part of a very long tradition within Republican politics, modern Republican politics, I should say.
Absolutely. I want you to take a listen to his campaign manager, Lee Atwater, in 1981, saying the quiet part out loud almost 40 years ago. Take a listen.
You start out in 1954 by saying by 1968 you can't say that hurts you, backfire, so you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights and all that stuff. And you get so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes, and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites.
Blacks get hurt worse than whites. I mean, that was kind of the theme of the Republican Party. And look, Bush 41 picked it up with his drug policies that created a pipeline to lead thousands, really, of black folks into prison. So really, this has been going on a long time. Your thought?
Yeah, I mean, and quite frankly, you know, what's the product of this is the competition for the white racist vote. You know, going all the way back to 1948, if you want, the presidential campaign in 1948, there was a question about where the South would go, and specifically wanting to appeal to racist white Southerners in terms of voting. So we talk about the Southern strategy with Nixon, and but this really precedes him by 20 years, and then lest we kind of exclude this to being simply a Southern dynamic, is very notable to me that the two most significant avatars of this, we're talking about Reagan and we're talking about Trump, are from California and New York. The most liberal bastions, stereotypically, in terms of politics and race. And so this is a national dynamic that was really brought to the fore by the Southern strategy.
That's a really good point about the Southern strategy, because I don't think people realize what a stark change that was in our country. But look, I may lose my amen corner here, but I feel like the Clintons deserve some of this smoke as well, because when President Bill Clinton was in office, his policies also went further than even some of his Republican counterparts. He was the president of welfare reform. He even called the welfare reform bill the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. This was in 1996. We were adults at that time working. So when people say, I want to bring that up because when people say that, black people are loyal to the Democratic Party, black people are loyal to black people. And what was the choice at that time? 4 more years of Bush 41 or Bill Clinton? But just talk, if you will, about Clinton's impact from the crime bill to welfare reform and the impact he had when it came to people of color in this country.
Well, yeah, and so the interesting thing about Clinton is that and it gave a indicator of the extent to which you can utilize the politics of personal diplomacy and personality and cultural fluency. And so people tended very often to interact with Clinton on the basis of his personal affinity for individual black people, or the fact that he'd grown up in the South and had close relationships with African Americans. He knew his way around a black church. But all of those dynamics that we're talking about are absolutely true. And even the era of big government is over. And when Clinton said that, that was clearly coded language that was referring to the same sorts of things that Lee Atwater had been talking about earlier.
Absolutely, Jelani. And I just want you to know the church bells were ringing in the background as you spoke because you were preaching, my friend, preaching the gospel. So thank you, Jelani Cobb. I could talk about this with you all hour, but we have run out of time. Thank you for joining us, and give those twins our love. And up next, I will try to make sense of why rallies like this one today are taking place. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.